Okay, okay, okay. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, so we have our little heart in the up here. AV valves just opened. Blood is now rushing through the tricuspid or bicuspid, but we'll just stick to the right side for now, just to not make it confusing. Now blood is entering this right ventricle, diastole, ventricular filling. So P wave, atria contracted, comes down. We have QRS. What does QRS represent?
Ventricular
QRS.
contraction.
Very good, very
That's
good.
QRS. Yeah, yeah. It's actually it's not. Yeah, the ventricles are contracting.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, okay. QRS, ventricles just contracted. Which valves just opened?
The valves would be your,
A no.
Not AV.
Hmm.
if you're contracting, that's systole. So that means your mitral and tricuspid are closed and your atrium and pulmonic are open.
Yes.
So which one's contracted?
Pulmonary, pulmonary valve, and aortic valves just opened up. That means yes. AV valves just closed.
Because they're only they have to be close in order for there to be
No
sound.
backflow.
They have
Yes,
to
yes, yes. That's what
close
causes the sound.
the love dub.
Mhm. Yeah,
So cool.
they
Now
have
we
to
have
be
up here.
closed.
Just imagine this is the pulmonary artery. Okay, blood is now going up to the lungs. Reaches the lungs, comes back, pulmonary vein. We're now in the left atrium. Uh, another beat. Atria contract.
You
AV
guys,
valves open.
if you guys are
Blood.
still on, I'll jump in a bit. My baby
Okay,
doesn't want to
okay,
sleep. I have to put her to bed.
okay. That's fine. Um, blood is now in the left ventricle. After the left ventricle, aorta. Aorta to the rest of the body. Okay, okay, okay. So we said P wave, atrial contraction. Blood is entering the right ventricle. Ventricles are filling. QRS. Ventricles now contracted, send blood either to the pulmonary artery or to the aorta, both. At the same time, the atria are relaxing. So first, atria contracts. At the same time, ventricles will contract, atria will relax. Atria are now relaxing. After the atria relax, only one more needs to relax. The ventricles. This is our little T wave. So Monica said our P wave depolarization. Depolarization, same thing as contraction. It's just like the technical term of what's happening. Depolarization of atria. QRS, depolarization of ventricles. Repolarization of atria. Same thing as relaxing. Repolarization, all the ions are just resetting, getting ready for the next heartbeat, for the next influx of ions. Okay. All right, not too much now, not too much. PQRST, RT wave. Ventricles are relaxing again, or starting to. Okay, cool. So we said P wave, AV valves open up, QRS, semilunar valves open up, AV valves close. Back to T, semilunar valves close, AV valves open for filling. Okay, any questions with this?
I'm probably gonna need to hear it a couple more times, but it's okay.
Okay.
I'll
Ye-
rewatch it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes, I
yeah,
hear.
I'm gonna go over it 2 more times right now.
And then
Go
just to
over it like I'm
confirm,
5 years old.
Yeah.
He didn't go over this, right? He expects us to know this from Gerald, correct?
He expected you to know this, yes.
Okay, because I was like, I have no notes and on this right
Yeah,
now.
no, he didn't go over it. That's why I was stuck on this. I keep
Okay.
reading it, but I need someone to explain it to me because reading it is one thing, but I gotta hear it explained so I know like,
I
okay,
like videos.
this goes with this.
Yeah,
But
if you have
I
videos
have to
about
leave to pick up
this,
my kids. So I'll log on once I get home if you guys are still
Cool.
logged on.
Yes.
Yeah.
If not,
Perfect.
send us a recording in the meantime.
Okay.
but if
Okay.
anything,
Thanks.
can you also send that video because this is my weakness.
Yeah, me too.
Yes. I'll send all my videos.
Yeah,
you,
like
thank you,
I
thank
think
you.
as you were explaining it, I was following along,
And then I got
but
lost.
and then I was like,
Yeah, with
yes,
the
I know
What's
videos,
your
you just
T2RX.
gotta keep
availability
seeing it.
tomorrow? Where do you live?
Huh?
What city do you live in?
North Long
He's like,
Beach.
hell no.
Huh?
Where do you live, Victor?
I
What
don't want
city are you in?
101
Oh, dead. Okay. Let's go.
Okay,
Okay,
yeah.
CVP. Now we know what's going on with this ECG. Now
Okay, I'll
we have
see
our
you
pressure
guys.
line. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. So what you need to know with this pressure line, every little change, A, C, X, V, Y, happens after something with the ECG. This P wave happens, and then the pressure changes. QRS, and then it changes. T, and then it changes. So you're just matching up. P wave, we'll make this line, P. And he has it right here too, atrial contraction. So CVP, what pressure are we monitoring? And where?
The supravena cava.
Yeah, very good. Superior
Oh, yeah,
cava,
right there.
cava, and then it ends in the right atrium over here. Here. So preload. This is the amount of blood that is being returned to the heart. Now let's look at this. So this pressure in the right atrium, pressure in the right atrium, blood in the right atrium. Wherever the blood is, that's what's going to change the pressure. Okay, so here we have basically at the beginning, it's peak. Why is it peak? Because that's the first thing that happens. All the blood is being returned to the right atrium. Blood is filling the right atrium. And then what do we remember about the atrium? The gravity helps it. Okay, so pressure is rising. Max, all the blood is up in the atria. Atria have now contracted. What happens when the atria contracts? Blood enters the ventricles. See how it dips a little bit? We feel like it should dip more, right? If all the blood is now left the atria. Why does it stop going down?
30%.
No. After the atria contracted, the 30% is done. 70 left and then 30 left. So 70 just naturally falls and then 30 finishes it off. But that's the P wave, finishing it off basically.
Mm-hmm.
So why did it not go all the way down? What happens? Okay, atria contract and then the valves open, right? What happens then? What happens next? The valves close. I'm gonna show you guys something. Fuck. Okay. I like this picture. Okay, cool. Okay, can you guys see this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you guys see the tricuspid valve? Kind of how it's like the ends of the valves point into the ventricle?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Do you see the pulmonary valve? How when it's opened, it kind of reaches a little more into the valve, into the artery?
The pulmonary artery, right?
Right now, I'm just looking at the valves. Okay, so we have an open valve, closed valve. First, atria contracts, the valves open. When it opens, it actually releases a little pressure. It opens up a little more space. We don't have space, we have high pressure. We have a lot of space, we don't have any pressure. We're good. So that the reason the pressure did not drop all the way down is because of the valve closure. It's like it's a small thing, but it technically does affect the pressure. Okay. One
So
more thing.
the widening is bigger on one side of the valve, and on the other side, it's more narrow. So not all the pressure comes out, right?
Kinda. You see how like they're kind of long at the end? When they open up, they get a little longer, and yeah, they open up a little more space. That closure of space creates a pressure gradient. Not much, but it did make a change. One more thing. When the heart contracts, or when the ventricles contract, they kind of move up and down. Contract, think of it moves up. If it relaxes, it moves down. This movement as well changes the pressure. If it's moving up and contracting, it's kind of pushing on the atrium a little. You know what I mean? And when it pushes and squeezes it a little, it's going to create a higher pressure. When it relaxes, okay, you're getting away from the atrium now, moving downwards to its normal position. Everyone's relaxed, no more pressure. It's not squeezed, it's just open. Does that make sense? So, like in this case, blood is not creating the pressure. It's literally like the anatomy of the heart. Like these structures moving around are creating pressure gradients. Over here. Look at the top. Tricuspid valve elevation is the right atrium. So let's see. Let me see if I can do something. Right atrium. And then think of this as the valve open. If it closed, it's gonna look like that, closing off a little bit of space. Open to close. That's a tricuspid valve elevation. Raises technically it raises. Okay. QRS happens next. QRS, what did we say QRS was? Ventricular contraction. If the ventricle is contracted, the AV valves are closed, the semilunar valves are now open, which are the aortic pulmonary. Blood had just been ejected from the ventricles to the arteries. No more blood in the heart, in the arteries now. That is the bigger X we see here. That's the way bigger drop in pressure. Because where do we say this pressure is measuring? Right atrium. After the ventricle contracted, now basically all the blood is gone. There's no blood in the heart to create pressure. Okay. Let's see. Any questions so far?
No questions. But I need to review this a little bit more. But thank you. It makes sense now.
Yes, same here. Thank you.
Ventricle at this point. Okay. Why is the pressure suddenly going up again? For this V.
Isn't it
Because
filling
it's gonna
back
be
up again?
filling back up for another contraction.
And the cycle starts over
Okay.
again. Okay, this is one cycle. As long as you know one normal sinus rhythm, it's always the same. Right now, he'll just give us the basic one like this. And now we know what it means. Atria contract, or before that. Now we have all our blood back to the heart, back in the right atrium. Atria contracts. There's a little less pressure because there's less blood in the atrium. A little stoppage because the valve closes and creates a little pressure gradient. Ventricles contract. When the ventricle relaxes, it stops putting weight on the atrium. All the blood is now gone. It's in the arteries, traveling to our tissues, in the veins, whatever. Not in the heart anymore. That's the biggest drop in pressure. T wave. Ventricular relaxation, ventricular repolarization, filling. Diastole. Oh, filling. And now the pressure is going up again because now all the blood is being returned back to the heart. And then the cycle continues. Does that make sense? Yeah, okay.
Can you
Mhm.
mark off which is the, I don't know if it's on here. Can you mark where systole starts and
Mhm.
systolics end, starts or ends, just to mark it
So,
off so I
mhm,
know, because I'm getting confused on this part, that part.
I got you. Okay. Do you want it like in regards to the red line or the green line?
It doesn't matter. Actually, the red
The
line.
green line, no?
Actually, both.
Okay, cool. So S1, what is S1? What causes S1? What noise? The closure of the AV valves. AV valves are the ones connecting the atrium and ventricles. So the atria contracted, the valves opened. Blood is now reaching the ventricles. Ventricles are getting ready to contract. Before they contract, valves close. S1. Before ventricular contraction. Or I guess like kind of the same time, but we'll say S1 is right here. Because the atria contracted, the valves opened, ventricles contracted, valves closed. Okay, moving on. Ventricles are now relaxed. After the ventricles relax, which valves close? Aortic pulmonary, S2. That'll be represented about right here, S2. Or maybe a little bit after. Like, yeah, hold on.
So pretty much in every dip
Yes, every
or
dip something changes.
inclination. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so look, P wave. Atria contracted. Pressure's at its max. Now it's going down. Valves just opened, then they closed. S1. Ventricles contracted, set the rest of the blood to the body, gone from the heart. That's the biggest drop in pressure because we're measuring the pressure in the right atrium. Now all the blood is gone. That's why the pressure is at its lowest. The pulmonary and aortic valves just opened up. Pressure drops all the way. They close. So the ventricles can fill up again. S2. Now back at V, that's starting the cycle over again. So he'll be like, oh, which valves are open? Looking at the red line at A. It's happening at A, atrial contraction. How do we know that it was atrial contraction? Look at the green ECG. P wave. P wave happened, atrial contraction. Which valves open? AV valves. QRS happens. Look at the C. Oh, that's C. What valves are closed? Well, if the AV valves just opened, then they're the next ones to close. AV valves are closed. Which valves are now open? Semilunar valves, aortic pulmonary. QRS, ventricles contract. Those valves open up. All the blood is now gone. Which valves close next? Semilunar valves. We have S2. If S2 are closed, S1 is open. If S1 is closed, S2 is open. If the tricuspid and bicuspid are open, pulmonary aortic are closed. And then if the aortic and pulmonary are open, tricuspid, bicuspid are closed. Okay. Any questions
So is
with the
it
CVP? So what are we measuring with
easy
the
to
CVP?
say?
Mm-hmm.
So okay, so in the ECG line, is it just one left up? That's one whole line.
Correct. This little, yes, exactly.
The
One
green
love
one.
dub.
Yeah, and then the
here,
top
over
one has more than one left up. The top one has between
Nah.
AC. No.
No, the top one is just one love dub as well.
Okay, it's just a little bit more
It's
spaced
just
out.
the reason there's more changes. It's because of those physical movements, not because of the blood. It's because literally the valve is taking up space. Literally the ventricle contracting and relaxing takes up space, but it's not anything happening like the heart is not pumping more. It's not.
Okay.
It's still one love dub. These extra changes
right.
are extracurricular kind of. But the biggest changes, like you can correspond them to the PQRST. Okay. Let's go to so indications, fluid status, because they're the biggest veins. Fluid status, sorry, because it's the blood returning to the heart. This is right preload. CVP, preload. Sorry. Okay. Preload for the right side. Okay. Let's go to arterial lines. This one, I think it's easier. Like it's way more simpler, like the picture at least. Okay, arterial line, we're pretty much monitoring blood pressure in the arteries. What is the pressure in the arteries? Afterload. Think of arterial lines, we're finding out the afterload. Because this is afterload, what did we say afterload was? The resistance, the ventricles, face. Okay. Accurate blood pressure monitoring, ventricular contraction, pressure in the arteries. Okay, cool. So the top one is ECG this time. Bottom one is the actual pressure in the arteries. So I think this one's easier because all it's based off is what the ventricles do. So here we have very tiny, but P, Q, R, S, T. And then P, Q, R, S, T.
Oh yes,
P,
I like that.
Q, R, S, T. Okay. So this one is multiple love dubs. The bottom one, multiple love dubs. Okay, pressure in the arteries. At the beginning, it's at its lowest. We see right here.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
Flat.
Pressure. What creates this pressure? The blood. Where is the blood? If it's low pressure, there's no blood in the arteries. High pressure, all the blood is in the arteries, or vasoconstriction, but not too much. We have our P. What is our P? Atria contracts. Where does the blood go when the atria contracts? Into the ventricles, not in the arteries. That's why there's no change. It's still low pressure. P happened, no change, nothing happened. QRS. What did we say QRS means?
We said that means ventricular is contracting.
Where does the blood go when the ventricles contract? Into the arteries. Oh, arterial pressure monitoring. Now the pressure went up. Why did the pressure go up? Now all this blood is in the arteries. Ventricles just contracted, raised the pressure. And then it drops. See, this one's way easier because it literally just goes up and down, basically. We'll do another cycle. Ventricles relaxed. Ventricles are filling. T wave. Ventricular filling. In ventricular filling, where is all the blood now?
It's
Going
about to
into the
restart.
heart. Restarting into the heart, not in the arteries. T wave happens. Ventricular filling. Drop in
And it
pressure.
goes down.
Continues dropping. P wave. P wave happens. I'm going to use a different color. Nothing changes because there's no blood in the arteries. It just went to the ventricles. QRS happens. Now there's a change. Now it rises. All the blood has just reached the arteries. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We have systolic and diastolic. Systolic, the peak. Why is the peak? Because we know that systolic is ventricular contraction. Ventricular contraction is what sends the blood into the arteries, creates that pressure. We have our trough and diastolic. What is diastolic? Ventricular filling. All the blood is in the ventricles and the heart restarting. Nothing is in the arteries. That's our trough. Systolic and diastolic. Peak, trough, peak, trough. Where's the blood? Systolic, in the arteries. And diastolic, in the blood. That's S1, S2. So would ask you, which valves are open right here? Knowing what we know.
Systolic is open.
So AV valves are open or semilunar valves are open? The tricuspid, bicuspid, or aortic pulmonary?
Isn't it aortic?
Open.
Perfect. Aortic pulmonary.
Mm-hmm.
Because these are the valves that lead to the arteries. Arterial pressure. Trough and diastolic. Right here. Ventricular filling and diastolic. Which valves are open?
Tricuspid.
Tricuspid, bicuspid. Perfect.
Tricuspid mic.
When we think about filling, we think about tricuspid, bicuspid. When we think about systolic and contracting, think about our arteries. Aortic. Aorta is the biggest artery in the body. Pulmonary artery is the pulmonary artery. So we have dicrotic notch. So it actually doesn't like uniformly drop all the way, like perfect down. There actually is a tiny, tiny, tiny horizontal line. It's kind of like how I was talking about CVP, how the actual physical movement of the valves in the heart changes the pressure, not the blood. Basically the same thing there. The momentary horizontal line is closure of the aortic valve. Let me see. Yeah, so literally the valve closes and it creates a little pressure gradient. I'm closing off the space. It's very minimal, but it happens still. It still technically makes a change. I don't know what he would ask about that, but closure.
So there is a closure.
Mhm.
Correct? Okay.
Well, there is a closure that makes a change. This the tricuspid, bicuspid closing don't make a change, and that would make sense. They're not connected to the arteries. Them closing and opening wouldn't affect the arteries. What's connected to the arteries? Aortic valve, aorta, pulmonary valve, and the pulmonary artery. When those close, it stops it from dropping just a little bit. Think of closed space, open box, closed box. If you have space, no pressure, you're good to go. You're good to move around. If you're in a closed, tight box, there's a lot of pressure. You cannot move around. There's too much going on. Does that make sense?
You said open space, move around. Closed space, you can't move around.
Closed valve, a little bit of pressure is created. Open valve, we got space now. We're good. But the main point is the PQRST. Ventricles contract, pressure in the arteries raises, ventricles relax, pressure in the arteries drop. If the pressure in the arteries are dropping, CVP is rising. It's now all coming back to the heart. Remember CVP? We are measuring inside of the heart, preload of the right side of the heart. Your pressure, how pressure, literally blood pressure. Blood pressure, blood pressure, blood pressure. It's a blood pressure curve that's inside your artery. So it's a little more accurate. That's literally it. Okay, any questions so far? Okay. Okay, this is the big one, big boy. Okay. So when we were talking about CVP, we were talking about preload, right side of the heart. Remember I said the pulmonary catheter actually does many things? The two things that are specific to it, pulmonary artery pressure and pop. The pop is what he'll be like focusing on. I don't think I'll focus on the PAP. Pulmonary arch wedge pressure. That's what the balloon that we are inflating. We'll get to that in a bit. And remember, wedge, it's the same thing as occlusive. So he could use either or on the test. Pulmonary occlusive pressure means the same thing as pulmonary wedge pressure. Wedging, because we're wedging in there. Occlusive, because it occludes blood flow. It stops the blood flow. So he said we use our SWAN's GANZS catheter, our pulmonary catheter, for cardiac output. The reason he said this is because CVP, we said that's preload, right? For the right side of the heart. For the pulmonary arch wedge pressure, you can get the preload of the left side of the heart when inflated. That's what happens when we inflate the balloon. That's what we're collecting, information about the left side of the heart. Because when you think about the left side of the heart, what comes next? Aorta, like carotid artery, brachial artery. But we can't go into those because it would be dangerous. It would be like risky, very risky. So instead, we're gonna enter. Let me show you. Put a slide or something. Cool. Okay, yeah. So look at this. And then lungs, and then it comes back into the left atria. It's gonna give us information about what's going on in here. Oh, we can't go through the aorta. That's way too dangerous. But it goes in the same way like a CVP. Through the big jugular vein or through the brachial vein, guided through the heart and wedged into the pulmonary artery. Since it goes through the heart, it can measure anything before that. Multiple functions. It can also measure preload of the right side of the heart. So it can do the same thing that CVP does. So, okay. So he says right here.
Wait, so since it does measure everything else, what does pulmonary artery mostly what is its main thing? Just the pulmonary artery, right? That's it.
The special thing
The
about
pressure,
it is
right? The
the
pressure?
Yeah, it two things specifically. It measures pressure in the pulmonary artery. So measures the pressure in here. And when the balloon is inflated, it's stopping blood flow here, right?
Yes.
When I say preload, because it's now giving us the amount of blood that's all on this side. What's on this side? Pulmonary artery comes back to pulmonary vein, comes back to left atrium. All of this blood is being measured when we inflate that balloon. And that's all of this blood is the preload of the left side of the heart. That's why he said this one measures cardiac output. This is what's going to tell us how much oxygenated blood is the left side pumping out. Right side told us preload for the right side of the heart. How much deoxygenated blood is the right side pumping out? That can give us information about right sided heart failure. This one can tell us about left sided heart failure. If pressure is increased, we know that blood is backing up into the artery, into the pulmonary artery. For the right side, if we know that pressure is increased, we know that blood is backing up into the veins. He says PAD pressure is up and PAP up equals heart failure and fluid volume overload, because we said pop wedge pressure or occlusive pressure, same thing. Preload, left side of the heart. Like no matter what, like left side, right side, increased preload, think of fluid retention. Think of fluid backing up, no matter what side it is. Okay, monitoring PA pressure permits precise therapeutic manipulation of preload.
This is where he was giving
oxygen.
examples of like, what will you do, or what kind of medications will you give, right?
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Once we get the
Okay,
information.
I remember now.
Okay. So moving on. Yeah, it says assessment of response to therapy in patients with pulmonary hypertension. Yeah, we can be trying to vasodilate the pulmonary artery. There you go. And then it'll let us know, did the pressure go down, did the pressure go up, what happened? Okay. Go to pressure created by volume of the blood. Okay, look. Pulmonary artery occlusive pressure, same thing as wedge, remember? Pressure created by volume of blood in the left heart. What did that man say like 20 times? Reload, volume of blood.
Volume of blood,
Left-sided preload. This is giving us left-sided preload. Volume of blood in the left side of the heart. What did CVP give us?
Right.
Preload of the right side of the heart. So it's two of the same information, just on different sides. Two different ways to get it.
CVP,
well,
right.
Yeah, I'm stupid. It was right there.
Up, left.
Pressure created by volume of blood in right heart. Pressure created by volume of blood in left heart. Okay, that's what's special to the pulmonary artery one. Okay, moving on. We're still not there yet. We're almost there.
You said we have to know the ranges, right? For this one? For
I didn't say it, but I don't know, honestly.
All right.
I would
With
just know
him,
them.
you never know.
I'm
Okay.
just gonna memorize them just because. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Taking a 5-minute break. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, because honestly, the next thing will be the big thing. So we'll take a little
Hold
break.
on. I need a second. I need like 5 minutes.
Okay, you guys ready? Yes.
I'm here, but I don't know about the girls.
I'm here.
Play.
For this one, I kind of just condensed the pictures because it was just so many slides for.
Yeah, it's like basically this one catheter can do many things. Emily. Emily.
I'm here. Sorry, I'm writing so many notes.
Okay. Okay.
We thought you would sleep, girlfriend.
We have our
No,
distal
girl.
one.
Not yet.
So we have like 3 little parts. The yellow one is the distal. This is pretty much the one that ends up in the pulmonary artery. This is the farthest one that reaches. Allows measurement of pulmonary artery pressures and measurement of mixed venous O2.
Okay, wait.
Cool.
Yellow L. He says the longest. L.
LL longest.
Yellow.
I like that.
Okay. Longest.
The red. This is just the inflation balloon for the right pressure later. Where is it? Blue port. This one, I think it's the second most. Wait,
The blue one is the proximal injectable port.
Oh, okay. Okay, so this one. Yeah, so when the catheter is in the pulmonary artery, this one is in the right atrium. What do we measure with the right atrium? Central venous pressure, central venous catheter. This one also can measure central venous pressure. Okay, we'll get to that in a bit. So we said our blue one, CVP, our
Wait,
yellow
hold
one.
on 1 second.
Pulmonary artery.
There's another yellow one that's not labeled.
Let me see.
Okay, so you see how we have the thermistor or thermistor?
Mhm.
The second one, which is the one underneath, that one's not labeled. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, let me see. Let's see. There's another picture I thought. I can just bring it up.
Yeah, I combined my pictures because it was just too many slides for one damn picture.
Okay, we'll get to that in a bit. Let me see. Proximal infusion.
Right? He doesn't go over that one.
Okay, balloon, thermistor. So thermistor.
The thermistor one looks like the Lancet. So it's the blue and white cap. And then the second one, it's, I don't know. Then we have the middle one, which is the proximal injector.
Oh,
Then underneath that, the CVO2
okay, you're right.
monitoring.
Distal. Distal. closer. Proximal. That's that one. This one just skipped it. Okay, hold on. No. It says it's oh, it's another thermostat port. There's two, I guess. I don't know. Interesting. Blue white. I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
Okay. CBP. UP. I don't think it'll go into this one, but now we know what we know. This is CBP, blood in the right atrium. That's what creates the pressure. P wave, atria contracts. Pressure goes from high to low. Now it's in the ventricles. QRS, ventricles contract. Pressure drops again, but it's not uniform because we know now the physical movements of the valve and the heart can create pressure gradients. Pressure peaks again at V, and this is diastole, ventricular filling. All the blood is now being rushed back. I don't think I have this one, but I guess this is what you would see with the blue one, blue port proximal one. That's the one that lies in the
this
CBP.
is the image that you broke down for us with the ECG on the top, but now this is just going
It's like
in with the
more
monitor.
reduced, I guess. Yeah, it's just
Okay.
smaller. It's the exact same one actually. Yeah, it's just small now. Yeah. Lumen. Yeah, no more than 1.5, but he said it won't let you put more than that. So, and make sure never leave it in for more than 8 to 15 seconds because you're stopping blood flow. You don't want to make them clot and then have an embolism. Okay. That was a picture, I think, too. Okay, cool. So we have these pressures, right? Goes low, goes high, goes low. What do these mean? Okay. So this is just showing like it guiding it through. That's how it goes through. I'll erase this. Basically, it ends up here. But along this catheter, there's a marker here, marker here, marker here. I think there's one more. Probably one is the thermistor. Anyways, one of them measures pulmonary artery pressure, one of them measures central venous pressure. But these pressures are to tell you where in the heart the catheter, the tip of the catheter is. So look, these spikes.
Wait, which catheter are we talking about?
Right now, it's just now I am looking at the first box right here. And then second, third, fourth.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so right now we see the tip is in the atrium, right? Pressure's at its lowest right now. Nothing's happening. Systole happens. What happens in the atria? Nothing. Because we know that systole is the ventricles contracting. That's where the pressure is. If the ventricles are contracting, that's where the blood is sending to the arteries. Nothing is in the atrium. And that's why pressure is lowest. You know, if you see that waveform, you know you're in the right atrium. Oh, okay, second box. Now we're in the right ventricle. Now we see the spikes. What are these up and downs? Lub dub.
The pressure.
One
pressure
contraction of the ventricle raises it. As it relaxes, it comes all the way down. Contracts again, raises it. Relaxes, comes all the way down. Systole is the top part, and then diastole is the bottom part. When you see that, you know you're in the right ventricle. Okay, now we guide the catheter farther through the right ventricle. Now we are in the pulmonary artery. Systole, diastole, still happening. Ventricle contracts, but what is the difference here? It doesn't have a trough. It doesn't go all the way down.
There's less pressure.
It's the opposite. It stays higher pressure. Why is there less pressure when we're in the right ventricle? It contracts and then it relaxes. When you're in the pulmonary artery, the blood is contracted into it, but there's nothing to help it relax. The only thing, like basically the reason it doesn't drop all the way to the bottom, closure of this pulmonary valve. Like how we said, closure of when we were looking at arterial lines, closure of the aortic valve, we are closing off space. That closure of space creates a little pressure gradient. A little one, but see how it still makes a difference. It stops us from the pressure going all the way down. In the ventricle, it can relax. There can be nothing going on in it where no blood is moving around, just chilling. In the arteries, there's always a pressure. Arteries do not have time to relax at all, basically. They're pumped, and then they're pumped against, and then they're pumped against again. That's the little difference. Systole, they're both raising. Diastole, only in the ventricle is there relaxation. So you know you're in the pulmonary artery because it goes up, stays up, stays up, stays up. There's always high pressure in the arteries. You know you're in the right ventricle, it goes up, the pressure just increased when it contracted. Then it went down, it relaxed. Went up, contract, went down, relaxed. In the artery, it's just always high, high, high. Okay, does that make sense so far?
Yes, it's okay. So in the right ventricle, the pressure goes up. But when it goes into the pulmonary artery, it stays up and it stays up because there is less pressure.
There's higher pressure because there's
nothing
that can relax
higher
in there.
pressure. Okay, higher pressure.
So think of the right ventricle and the pulmonary artery. They both have high pressure, but the ventricle actually has the ability to relax. The arteries cannot relax. When the valve closes, it stops it from relaxing, basically. It creates that pressure. The valve closing right here creates this stops it from going even lower. If it didn't close, then yes, it's gonna basically relax with the ventricle because they're basically in the same place. Okay, does that make sense? And then before we talk about the last box. Okay, pulmonary artery wedge. Okay. So we see it made it all the way to the pulmonary artery, wedge. Now we are inflating the balloon. This is what's special about it, besides the pulmonary artery pressure. But this is the main thing. Balloon is now inflated. Blood flow is stopped. And it's stasis. It's just being stagnant on this side and on this side. So what is this? We have our pulmonary artery. Everything on the right side of it, like I said earlier, goes to the lungs. From the lungs, gets the oxygen back. Pulmonary vein, left atrium. Now we have all this blood here. So we have our balloon. Our balloon makes blood on both sides. The pulmonary artery wedge pressure is the pressure on the right side of this balloon. And what is all this blood? Preload of the left side of the heart. This is the volume of blood that is entering the left side of the heart. This will tell us cardiac output with oxygenated blood. Let me see something.
Say that one more time. You said on that side is the blood. Why? You said the right side. What? I'm so sorry.
So remember, okay, sorry.
You said the right side of the balloon, and that's where you kind of
Yeah.
lost me. So go back to
Okay,
your
I
little
got you. I
picture.
got you. Yeah, let me make a. I can make a bigger picture.
No, it's just I don't write fast.
Okay, okay.
So you said on the right side of the balloon.
So right here, the balloon is inflated.
Mm-hmm.
We have blood on this side, and we have blood on this side. The wedge pressure is talking about the blood on this side. What is this side? The rest of the pulmonary artery, the lungs, the pulmonary vein, back into the atrium, left ventricle. All this blue is the blood that it's measuring now because of this little balloon. It's giving us volume of blood. This volume
so
of blood is what creates the pressure.
it's basically it's measuring everything after the balloon.
Yeah.
Everything after, exactly. That's when it's inflated.
Okay,
When it's not when it's not inflated, it's measuring everything in the artery.
Before.
The artery right here. No, well, like just the artery, basically, like not after the lungs. No, basically this area, and the wedge, everything on the right side of it. So remember, we said CVP. We are measuring preload, amount of blood on the right side of the heart. This
So once wedge
left side of the
happens,
heart.
then that's when we can calculate how much pressure is left or is currently there, right?
For the left side of the heart.
For the left, okay.
So see how we have normal pulmonary artery wedge pressure 8 to 12? If it's higher, that means fluid volume overload. High pressure, because there's a high amount of blood. High preload. Higher preload. I just think of heart failure every time, but low 8 to 12, below 8, there's not a lot of blood entering the left side of the heart. Not a lot of blood is being pumped out. Low cardiac output. A lot of blood, like I guess it could be high cardiac output, but then eventually it'll fail. So still no, not a good thing. But want it to be normal. Okay. Oh yeah, here. Heart failure, PAWP goes up because there's more fluid, technically, creating more pressure, taking up more space. Cardiac output goes down. It's not efficient. For some reason, for some problem, it's backing up. It's not all the way going through. Blood is backing up and building up. That's why I always think of heart failure. So what he'll ask us, or what he was asking us in class, you see this waveform, where are you? When you're inserting the pulmonary artery catheter. Low pressure. This is basically measuring, like, reacting to the heart. Okay, so location. Right atrium, it's at its lowest. Blood is just returning from the veins. Veins have a low pressure system. It's just flowing, no backflow. It's flowing normally, no pressure. Right ventricle. All the blood is in the right ventricle now. Now we have some pressure because the ventricles actually can contract and make a difference. Diastolic, S1. You still could ask about the valves opening and closing. Ventricles is contracted. Diastolic. Ventricles are now relaxed. That's the difference. It goes all the way down because ventricles can relax. Looking at this one, systole, heartbeat. Goes down, but stops right here. We say it stops, closure of pulmonary valve. So how the aortic valve can make a difference by closing for the arterial pressure, this pulmonary valve can make a difference in the artery pressure, of the pulmonary artery pressure. They both create more pressure in their own arteries just literally by closing valves. That's what stops it from going all the way down, and then it contracts again, tries to go down. Valve closes, stops the blood from flowing back, stays in there. There's no room for pressure to drop. And then looking at this one, Go all the way through, or I guess this is when you inflate the balloon. But I think he'll be asking about these three specifically.
Yeah, and then the wedge actually looks like a W.
Each pressure. Okay. A little difference. For that one, I would know 8 to 12 is the value, so you can look at the match it up with this chart over here. It's Y value. So no location by the pressure. Oh yeah, I wrote loss of diastole. So when you're in the right ventricle, you do have diastole. You do have ventricular relaxation. Pulmonary artery, you have systole, no diastole. That's why it doesn't drop all the way. 1.5 max. This is just that's pretty much it. And then we just have these. We do like some practice questions. I don't know if you guys want to do these, but that's pretty much it for the meaning of each catheter. Do you have any questions for this one?
Isn't that the last one?
Yeah, it's the last one.
Can we just go through the practice question or the? Oh, it's a sample problem.
Yeah. I'm gonna show you one more thing.
Oh yeah, there's one more, huh? I don't have any notes. Why I don't have any notes? Did I stop paying attention? Oh,
I think he didn't. This one.
What you mean one more? What one more?
The sample problem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think he went through that one. Did he?
Yeah, he just barely, but he made his own, you know. But yeah, we'll have those. I'm gonna show you something with the PA catheter. Oh, okay.
what time is the meeting tomorrow?
I think 10.
10.
Jen, you're gonna have to call me because I'm gonna be at work.
Dude, I low-key forgot that we had that meeting.
I mean,
I think you guys said
it's
something.
online, but
Thank you. But I will. Dude, it's just simple stuff like, oh yeah, like therapeutic communication.
what time are you off, Em?
I'm off early, I think 11 or 12, but I just go in at 6, so it shouldn't be too bad.
Damn. Yep. So this is our pulmonary artery catheter. Oh fuck! Come on, please load. Okay. Labeled 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 is the distal port. Distal because it's the farthest one away. That is the one that measures pulmonary artery. That's the one that's actually in the artery. 3, port to the balloon. That's where you can inflate it. 2, port to thermistor. So the thing with the thermistor, kind of measures like blood flow, like efficiency, kind of. It measures the change in temperature when it flows through. So there's a little drop. There's a range. So I guess the solution is injected. It knows what temperature that is. And then when it flows through, there's a drop. And then they calculate that drop. Change in temperature over time.